Says I'm live. Hello there, pipe pals. Old holy smoking pipe padre coming at you. Yo, and a bottle of Christmas. All right. How you doing? All right. Let's get the old Santa pipe going here, the old Christmas pipe. All righty. Well, it's Christmas Eve. It is the eve before Christmas Eve. And I am here, and I am live. Is it live or is it Memorex? That's the question. Is it live or is it Memorex? Some of you may remember that phrase. Is it live or is it Memorex? So, this is the housekeeping. Turn this down a little bit here. Got some traditional Christmas, quote unquote Christmas Advent music. And it's glorious. Almost as glorious as the Boswell's Christmas cookie. Oh. Have you been a good boy or little girl? Okay, good. Okay. All right. So I am here, and maybe you can do a little pan around of the, that's kind of, can I do a little bit slower? I guess I can. There's my little Christmas village. There's my window sill. Der Fenster, or Das Fenster. Okay. Alrighty. Now you're probably wondering, what in the heck am I doing? Well, I'm playing with my gimbal, my Osmo One, version 1 gimbal, waiting for the version 2 to come out. Well, it's already out, but I'm waiting for one to come tomorrow. I ordered one. It's supposed to be a little bit better, but actually, to be honest, I think this is quite good. Now, I don't know, maybe I have found the perfect vlogging setup here. I'm using an iPhone 10 mounted on my Osmo gimbal version 1, and it seems to be kind of seems to be working. Okay, so hopefully you're watching live. If you're here in the chat room there, just say hi. I got my glasses on, and I might be able to respond to you if it's not too in-depth. Sometimes I get some really deep theological questions. Sometimes people pop in and say, hey, talk about the mystery of, whatever. I got 7 people, looks like, or maybe that's 7 likes. I don't know. Maybe, that's 7 likes, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so how y'all doing? Happy Advent, peaceful Advent. This is the 4th and final week of Advent, Christmas, our Advent peace. The day, again, this is Christmas Eve. I always like Christmas Eve because it just feels like you kind of get an extra little blessing there when you see it that way. Christmas Eve. So happy Christmas Eve to all of you. All right, so I was on here by accident just last week about this same time. I had a friend, actually my German teacher from Germany, was here having dinner, and she was asking me about YouTube and how she can do YouTube videos. And she says, well, you mean I can actually talk to people live in Germany if I wanted to? And I said, well, yeah, if you have your own YouTube channel. And she goes, well, how difficult is it? And I said, well, nowadays it's super simple and easy. I mean, we're going to talk a little bit about a couple of things tonight. And one of them is, the kind of the advantages of, really learning iOS and mobile apps as opposed to full-blown OS programs on your Mac or your Windows, believe it or not. So we're going to talk about that. And we're also going to kind of maybe compare and contrast that with the idea that a lot of people have today, especially in light of the problems. Merry Christmas, Padre. Thank you, Pipe Doc. Thank you, sir. Really appreciate your saying hi. Merry Christmas to you and yours. happy and holy Advent, a happy and a holy Christmas as well. Okay, so yeah, so I've got this. Let me just go back to a little bit more pipe stuff here. This is just a beautiful, you know, it's a calabash. It's a church warden calabash. I mean, what else would you call this? It's got that beautiful long stem. Merry Christmas, Padre. So nice to visit with you at your home. What are you smoking tonight? I am smoking, of course, Boswell's inimitable Christmas cookie. I mean, come on, it doesn't get any better than that. Christmas cookie. Well, you probably can't read it that way because it's backwards, unfortunately. At least I think it's backwards. But so anyway, actually, if I turned the camera around, but then I can't see myself in the viewer. So anyway, but this is a pipe I got maybe 5-6 years ago when I was in Elk Grove. Hey, Father, the PA Piper. Hello there, PA Piper. New pipe smoker here. Just joined. Well, all right. Well, I hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful evening wherever you're at. Happy Christmas Eve. And what I was going to say is if you're new to the hobby, and provided you are of legal age, I would say and recommend most wholeheartedly, Merry Christmas, great to see you live. Yes, you remind me of the night service. I forgot, I gotta go. Thanks, okay, see you, bye. Somebody watches me and they go, oops, I forgot to go to church tonight, better go, see ya. Good, I did something good for somebody, I love it. Let's see, where was I talking about? Oh, yeah, if you're new to the hobby and you're looking for a very tasty, delicious pipe tobacco to start off with that doesn't burn, at least it doesn't burn my tongue, and so many other people's, is again the Boswell blends. And again, I know that there are so many other wonderful, delicious pipe tobaccos out there. You know, there are just so many. You know, there's the C&D people, Cornell and Deal, that is. There's the oh, I just got another little announcement here. Okay. So, you know, there's the Sutliff folks. I'm just coming up with names I'm just remembering. You know, the McBarons. You know, I mean, there's just wonderful people that have created wonderful tobaccos. You know, the Peterson pipe tobaccos that make people like the Peterson pipes, of course. Dunhill blends. There's a plethora, a cornucopia of wonderful pipe tobaccos out there. So, but again, I'm just recommending for tonight, if you have time, I sent before I stopped typing. Okay, maybe you can refresh my memory of what it was you typed and asked me about. Maybe I can, possibly. We could talk about it. Anyway, so again, I'm just trying to share with people that are just starting off a pipe tobacco that's enjoyable, has a nice room note for the most part. It smells like Christmas cookie. It just smells delectable, and most people just love it. You know, the flavor's good. If you're new to the hobby, again, I don't want to mislead people and say, oh, this is absolutely, does it taste like a quote-unquote cookie you bite and eat in your mouth? Well, not exactly, but you do get what we call tobacco flavors, and some of those are sweet, and some of them can even be even meaty flavors to some extent, and a lot of them can be very herbal and earthy. You know, some of them can be spicy, like a cigar. So again, yeah, Merry Christmas, one and all. Okay, Drop Bear Woodworks. Okay, Drop Bear Woodworks. Okay, the PA Piper. Thanks for the advice. I actually got half and half. Half and half. Hey, when I was a young lad, when I was a wee laddie, for my first tobacco, yes, half and half, or Carter Hall, kind of the same thing. I know some people will probably get on here now and they will just go apoplectic and say, how can you say half and half and Carter Hall the same thing? Also known as Pipe Nutter. Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember your handle, that handle. I remember that handle. Nice to see you back. So anyway, so if you're new to the hobby, you can't go wrong with Boswell blends. They are delicious. From Los Angeles. Okay, everything. Oh, evening pipe. Oh yes. You have the picture of C.S. Lewis there as your moniker or your channel Image or something. Yeah, good old C.S. Lewis. Great, 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 great. Um, okay, so I wanted to talk about a couple of things that I'm live. Okay, I've got this new little blogging rig here, and as you can kind of see, I've been playing with it a little bit. There's my little Christmas village there underneath my Divine Mercy. And there it is. I don't know if I can do it. I can't do a zoom on that one, but I got my little Christmas village, had that for years. Got my Christmas tree back there. You know, it's just a beautiful, kind of a beautiful Christmas evening. It's almost, you know, I got to be honest, it kind of reminds me back when I was a little guy, and we'd wait for my brother Earl, who there's a little memorial video of him. He passed away about 10 or 11 years ago. 11 years ago, on Christmas Eve morning. But this was a very special time, and you know, my mom would be in the kitchen making all the Christmas treats and delicacies that we'd have for the next 2 weeks. You know, there'd be like 4 or 5 homemade pumpkin pies, and oh, there'd be fudge brownies and gumdrop cakes, and you know, those were all the baked sweets and all that. And then all the other, you know, the turkey would be getting ready for the next day to be popped in the oven, and I would be, I always loved building model airplanes, and so just kind of in my own little world, and we'd be waiting for my brother to come walking down the old country lane by the ravine, and then he'd come in, and if it was raining, he'd you know, hang up his London Fog raincoat, and eventually he'd get around to pulling out his old pipe and lighting up his pipe, and boy, what memories that brings back. Wow. Anyway, nostalgia is one of those things at Christmas, you know, the ghost of Christmas past, and it's a kind of a bittersweet kind of a thing. So anyway, so tonight I was going to talk to you about a couple of things. And one of them is the little blogging rig that I've got here. It kind of stumbled on it by accident. Now that you can do live streaming. See, where's the camera? I think there's the camera right. Oh, the camera's right there. I've been talking over here. Need to talk over there anyway. So now that the vlogging rig, and I think also if I, oh no, I'm not. Am I using? No, I'm okay. This is a different app. If I was doing an actual recording using either my iPhone app or Filmic Pro or the DJI, I could do actual tracking where it would track me, but it doesn't do it live. So I'm kind of stuck with just the YouTube video, recording video. So anyway, such as it is. But anyway, now that I've got this, okay, all right, somebody just subscribed to my other channel. Thank you for that. That's another channel, my other channel, my homily channel. So anyway, so I found this kind of by accident just tonight. I have also discovered the brand new, again, I'm not trying to do a product review here, but this is the new Osmo PA Piper. If you have time, check me out. Hope you had a good Sunday. I served at the Ukrainian. Oh, whoa, come back. Is that St. Elias? Is that St. Elias in Brompton, Ontario? Tell Father Roman I said hello. I love that guy. He's my spiritual director in many ways. He doesn't know that. Actually, he probably does, because he's my kind of like my Ukrainian Catholic dad, spiritual dad, I should say. He's wonderful. Anyway, this is the Pocket Osmo gimbal, and kids, it's just incredible how technology just keeps evolving. This little thing, it's no bigger than a candy bar, even smaller in some respects as a candy bar. And I just did my first vlog. You can see that, my first homily video, and just walking around the church on Friday, and put it into LumaFusion when I got back, and uploaded everything on my new iPad. And I mean, it's just getting more compact and simpler, and it's just getting easier. You know, it's just wow. I remember when I was, oh my gosh, that takes me back. The little Pocket Instamatic 110 cameras, the little Kodak 110 pocket cameras. I wonder if anybody ever remembers that. Okay. 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 It's obviously a different pastor, but I hope he's a good, I'm sure he's a great guy. You know, obviously, if he wasn't, you wouldn't go there. Okay. Merry Christmas. Okay. Thank you, Bearded Outlaw. That's a great name, Bearded Outlaw. Okay. I used to have a beard in my older days. Yeah. Maybe I'll grow back someday. I don't know. The first couple of weeks, even months, just goes crazy. But anyway, as I was talking about technology, there was a little Kodak 110 cameras, and they were literally about that size. They might have even been a little bit bigger than this. And this shoots in 4K, live video. I mean, I think it does do live streaming. Haven't figured that part of it out yet. But anyway, right now I'm still working on just basic YouTube live stream. But anyway, still, this was amazing. So the thing is that, you know, the big question mark for 2019 is probably, you know, can things like your iPad, you know, I'll just kind of turn here real quick, the iPad, see if you can do this here. Can you do it? iPad, there we go. Can the iPad actually replace your laptop? And up until recently, I would say it was kind of a, remember the Slinkies where you kind of bounce them, you know, go back and forth. I would say that that's where I was kind of with can an iPad replace your laptop or your computer, basically. And of course, Apple is trying to kind of promote that idea. Now, again, I'm all for that. I think that would be awesome if you could actually, you could actually do that. That'd be slick. That'd be slick, okay? Well, I'm here to tell you that the more I force myself to learn iOS apps as opposed to full-blown Mac OS programs, and basically the one major program I've used, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, for the last 11 years now, has been Final Cut Pro. I love Final Cut Pro. It's a wonderful, wonderful video editing program. And I mean, don't even have the whole shooting match down on that one. So, I mean, there's tons of things that you could do. I even played with Adobe Premiere Elements for a while before I went to Final Cut Pro. And again, another great program. But they're computer-based programs, and they're fantastic. My friend Steve would say that the Adobe people, they put stuff in there that unless you, I mean, there's just so many layers of creativity, and you can learn the basics, but there's a whole bunch more stuff underneath the hood, and it's true. He was just amazed at just the Elements version of, say, Photoshop or Premiere Pro or Premiere Elements. So anyway, so that's why I've loved Mac and Apple, you know, ecosystem for the last 11 years. I just absolutely adore it. From a computing standpoint, not a theological standpoint. Okay, I'm not doing idolatry here. I'm not, you know, bowing down before my iPad or something like that. But I mean, I really love the simplicity and the elegance. It's the elegance of how these programs work and the things that they can do, and in the room for expanding and doing different things even later on down the road. So yeah, wonderful programs. So that being said, can you now, is it possible to do the things that you do And see, that's the question you have to ask yourself. And I'm seeing a lot of people, you know what? Let me take a little break here. Speaking of people, before I get into my more theoretical ramblings tonight, there were a few people I did check out tonight on my other channel. And I just wanted to say hello to them, and I want to thank them for their kind comments. And one of them is Jim Germata, and he said he really likes the videos, been watching for a number of years, and I guess he's had some health issues. You know, been there, done that, especially this past year. So I'm really hoping you get well soon and heal up real fast, and can start making more videos so we can see what you're up to these days. And I really wish you all the best in 2019. Native Gun, or is that Nativity Gun? Native Gun, yeah. And I remember this person from years ago, and he says, "Oh, you see, you're still there. Glad to see you, and thank you for saying hi again." Paul Kellerman, kind of going through a rough patch there. Paul, be kind of keeping you in my thoughts and prayers the next couple of days, especially for Christmas. And Jim P said hello, and thank you, Jim. And of course, the inimitable, the one and only Gary Portier, and his Christmas ornament, his Christmas shovel ornament. You have to see one of his videos, but he has a Christmas shovel ornament. At least I think it is. Anyway, so, all right. So again, thank you to all those folks, and you know, and those of you who still watch the old Padre from time to time. It's nice to, you know, nice for you to say hello, and I'll try to remember you and say hi back from time to time. But okay, so let me kind of get back to this whole idea of using your iOS device, your mobile device, your Apple iPad as a computer. So, oh, Merry Christmas, Second Light Pipes. Ah, interesting name, Second Light. Well, actually, this is like my 5th or 6th light. I gotta be honest with you. Okay. But let me light my pipe. There we go. Light up your world, light up your pipe. There's somebody on YouTube that says that. Not to be confused with software update will be auto-installed later tonight. Fine, fine. Install later tonight. I don't care. Sorry about that. Okay, no. So you have to ask yourself a very important question. What is it that you do? And can you do it on your mobile device or your iOS device? And so I've been asking myself, well, what is it that I do on a weekly basis, sometimes on a daily basis? At least I'm working on at least 2 videos. Well, I shouldn't say that's not true. I work on 1 video a week, that's for sure. But when I was doing this more full-time, when I was feeling better, I tried to do maybe 1 a week. On average, it wasn't like a hard and fast rule, but still, you know, having the 2 channels, and I try to upload to them frequently. But on the other one, it's a little bit more, that's more work related, and you know, so yeah, so that is a weekly thing. It's always been that way. So I'm always looking for new ways of doing things that will make things more streamlined, more simpler, and also give me a better product in the end, or give me options to where I can, you know, I can do creative things, and also I can do, you know, I can experiment as well as put out hopefully a pretty decent little product, a little video, okay? And usually my little homilies on YouTube go about between 15 and 20 minutes. Between actually 10 and 20 minutes. I mean, sometimes I go a little bit longer. Sometimes I go a little bit shorter. Like I probably will try to do a Christmas video tomorrow, and it'll be just a very simple video. At least I plan on it being pretty simple. So anyway, so I started asking myself, can I start using the iPad and creating videos? Can I, first of all, a lot of times, I have been watching your videos for a long time. I was away from the church for a long time, and oh, well, that's very kind of you to say that. I hope I have. I know some people, I mean, I have my opinions, and I'm trying to be honest with people, and sometimes my opinions aren't very well received. I try to be respectful, and people can disagree if they want, but again, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that actually in just a moment, because I think they have a lot in common. These two ideas of, learning an iOS device format workflow as opposed to a regular a computer program, full programs like Mac OS and say Windows. Where's Richard T? I just thought for sure Richard T would be chiming in here any minute to tell me how wrong I am. I need to get into a Windows operating system. Windows 10 is for him, I'm sure, the cat's meow, the cat's whiskers, the bee's knees. And all those Canadians up there, they really seem to love building their own machines. And what are you going to do when it's, 25 degrees to below and there's, 10 feet of accumulation of snow up there and you've got nothing else to do? Well, Windows machines are great for that because they're always breaking down and they need to be fixed, so it gives you something to do. It's sort of like the Maytag repairman when it comes to Apple products, for the most part. We'll talk about that in a moment, too. But just, you don't have to worry about fiddling with them that much. You just kind of, you can, do more in creative things, instead of like trying to figure out how to put in a new power supply because your other one didn't work too well. Okay. I'm just ragging on Richard or whoever's a Windows person. I love Windows stuff. I actually have a Windows 10 machine sitting over there. Of course, it's on my Mac. Sorry. But you knew that was coming. But anyway, so, a lot of people love Windows machines, and I don't fault them for that. And but anyway, so if you're trying to go to a mobile operating system like your iPad, and yes, I know that about the Surface hybrids. They're both the 2-in-1s, and I'm just not in a Windows ecosystem. That's all it is. Maybe someday, who knows? Maybe someday we'll go back to that. But for now, I'm still in the Apple ecosystem, and I really like how things work. That's my workflow. So you have to ask yourself, what's your workflow? What is it that you do, and can you do it? What happened? Hello? What happened here? Hello? It looks like... Hello? Hello? What happened? What happened? I don't know if this is still working or not. It looks like Uh-oh. Okay, Merry Christmas. Thank you all. I don't know what happened here. Oh, heck. Okay, what happened? Hello? I don't know if this is still working. Video is frozen. Audio is still there. Oh, my goodness. Well, I don't know what happened. Curmudgeon Piper. Thank you, Curmudgeon Piper. Yeah, something just went haywire here. I don't know what happened. I kind of went cattywampus here. Yeah, I still see that... Well, you know what? I'm going to just keep talking real quick because sometimes videos like this just do an audio track and they kind of keep you a little frozen face there, and you're just going to... You know who it is. You don't need to see any more... I'm not doing any special effects or anything, so... Yeah, I'll just kind of keep this going for a little bit longer and just kind of finish my little sharing tonight. So hopefully that's okay. Is that okay, folks? I'm still here live audio, but we just got that frozen Santa face there, and that's okay. So it's me, the old Holy Smoking Pipe Padre. Light up your world, light up your pipe. That's me. So maybe the video will come back. I don't know, but we'll just keep it going for now. Okay. So all I was going to say is that for me, I have asked myself those questions. Can I do the work that I do Howdy, Padre. Hello, Duke City Piper. Yep. Okay. Still live, guys. Still live. I'm just the video's frozen, but the audio's still going. So anyway, I asked myself, what can I do? And I started having to do one thing that we all don't like to do, and that is learn something new. Especially if it entails, learning kind of some new ways of doing things that are not intuitive or that's different. And it's like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I wanna, and again, a lot of us are very busy. You've got families, you've got work, you've got maybe a second job, maybe you're going to school, maybe you've got health issues, and so energy is a premium. And to sit down and maybe learn something new, it's going to take some hours, some time. It's going to be like, oh boy, I don't have time for this. One of the things about Final Cut Pro, and when I make my other videos, I can probably put together, one of my videos within about 20 minutes. And that's audio and clips and green screening and titles and scrolling, text and all the stuff that I do on that other channel. I can probably put together, once I have all the clips. That's another issue there, how do they get the clips in there. But once they're there, then it's pretty simple. So, and we're talking 4K footage now. I don't do it all the time, but I can, and it's like, okay, if I forget to change the camera, resolution back to say 1920 or whatever, bottom line is I can, I can still do import a lot of videos pretty easily. In fact, a couple of videos. Merry Christmas. Thank you, Harlow Piper. Thank you, sir. And thank you. So, like I said, it can take just literally a few minutes because I know what I'm doing. I know what I want to do. And if you even have time, a little bit extra time, and I'm thinking about trying to do something a little more creative, I can say, maybe I might try kind of a different approach. Maybe I'll try doing this. Maybe I'll try importing maybe a 360 footage, or maybe I'll try a drone footage or something like that. Maybe I'll even try playing at color correction a little bit. That's a new area for me. So again, there's just so many things that you can do. But now I have taken some time in the last couple of weeks to really get into LumaFusion, and I don't have it down like I do Final Cut Pro, but I have enough now to get the basics. I can import my footage, even if I'm shooting on, say, the Osmo gimbal or a GoPro or even my or some other video device. I can pretty much figure out now how to import that. Sometimes it's a little bit easier said than done, but most of the time I'm figuring out, okay, it's not a real challenge anymore. I know how to do that. So again, all I'm saying is the question is, two questions is, what is it that you do on a daily basis? What is the main programs that you run, and are there alternatives on your mobile or your iOS or your Apple laptop? Sorry, not a laptop, but your iPad. And I think 9 times out of 10, you will find out that yes, indeed, there are programs that you can use that will do almost everything that that the full-blown computer-based programs will do. Let's see, Procreate is a wonderful photo editing program. And let's see, is it Procreate? And there's another one. There's a couple of them out there that do almost the same thing as Photoshop does. Now, they're not exactly like LumaFusion. It's not like Final Cut Pro. I mean, it's a linear, non-linear video editing program, but it's a different format. It's similar in some ways, but it's different in others. So I have been kind of pushing myself, and each week it gets a little bit easier. And now I can pretty much, there's a couple little things that I need to do to learn a little bit better on scrolling text. And there's a program that I actually found. I went out and found it. Guy from, I guess, is iOS Productions. Anyway, he has some pretty good tutorials on how to do things in LumaFusion, things that I need to do. And so they're good workarounds, and they work, and you just have to learn them. But once you do, you learn that workflow, and now it's muscle memory, basically. So anyway, so my question is, what do I do, and can I do it on my iPad? And the answer, I have to tell you, is each week I probably sit more in front of the iPad than I do on my bigger machine, my Mac Pro, 2013 Mac Pro, and I even have the 2008 Mac Pro. And although I love them, they think they're great machines. They do awesome things. The problem is that they're kind of getting a run for their money now, because I can do a lot of this stuff on my iPad. I literally can. So is it a laptop replacement for everybody? Probably not, but it is starting to become a laptop replacement, a computer replacement for me, believe it or not. And so I'm a person that's a real life person. I'm not an Apple paid spokesperson, so I don't go around, making money for them. Sometimes I have to say, for the most part, if I was to give Apple a rating on customer service and product satisfaction, I'd give them a 90. I give them a 90, no problem. But unfortunately, some of the things that I am beginning to see, it's again, they have a lot of product in their stables. It's hard to keep all those products refreshed and up to date, and very, very attractive. Very, very cutting edge. So sometimes they let things fall by the wayside. A lot of people thought the MacBook Air was going to be pretty much discontinued. They thought the Mac Mini was going to be discontinued. There are some people now feel that maybe they should have been discontinued. One of the things I hope they don't discontinue, but they probably will, but they're saying now, there's some rumors that the iPad Mini, it's going to get a refresh. There's going to be an iPad Mini 5, which I hope there is, because I think I love my little iPad Mini. They're awesome little machines, and I use it every single day. I listen to podcasts. I listen to my audiobooks at night. It's just a little wonderful bedtime companion. So I really like that little thing. Gets a lot of use, and I've had it since the last one was like 2 or 3 years ago it came out. So, but I still use it every night, and even during the day. So it's just a great little machine. So anyway, I'm just saying that you can replace your laptop and probably your computer if you take the time to figure out what apps that you can use to recreate. You have to relearn. You have to basically go back to school again. Start off in square one and go, I don't know what I'm doing here. And you have to make those awkward mistakes on trial and error, and you have to make mistakes. You have to take time to sit there and make those mistakes. So the thing is that a lot of us don't like that. We want to learn something. Once we learn it, we don't want to bother with it again. And that's human nature. We kind of want things to be easy. We want things to be kind of like, convenient for us. And so that's why, once you learn something, most of us learned whatever programs we learned probably in high school or college, or we became acquainted with them, years ago, and we just learned, and we've grown with them. Well, that's just the way it is. So anyway, I have to tell you that I do think, and not think, but I'm actually doing it. I'm using my, basically my iPad for most of my my workflow now, my video editing. I'm using LumaFusion and using a few other programs that I normally use in conjunction with that. And so far, they seem to be working pretty well, okay? Again, it's not a one-to-one comparison saying, well, is this program like Final Cut Pro? It's not. So you have to be patient, and you have to learn something new. And that's where I think a lot of people, and there's a lot of people who are begrudgingly saying, well, can the iPad and these kind of machines, can they really take the place of a computer? Well, they say yes on one hand, and then they kind of go, but not really. It all depends. It all depends. Always goes back to it depends. Well, that's it. It depends. And the big depends is, are you willing to learn some new things? Are you willing to kind of step out of your comfort zone and take that risk and waste some time, because you're going to waste a lot of time sometimes to learn something new. And if you're willing to do that, then the answer is most assuredly yes. Now, the reason why I think it's exciting is because you can now kind of go down this road to where things just get a little bit more convenient, a little bit easier, once you have invested your time in doing that. Well, okay, I hope that makes sense to some of you, and some of you I know who are kind of techies like that, and some of you are non-techies, really don't care, and that's okay too. All right, unfortunately, the video has not come back yet, but I'm still here, and I'm talking live, still live, and we'll just keep the audio going. I'm gonna have one more thing I'll talk about tonight. And I'm still smoking my Christmas cookie, my Boswell's Christmas cookie in my church warden calabash. Yeah, okay. So, now the next thing I want to talk about real quick, because we're talking about Dead Mouse 1. Hey, how you doing there? Hello, pal. How you doing? The thing I want to talk about now, lastly, is, and it has a little bit of a tie-in with, trying to learn something that is uncomfortable, something that sometimes people just don't like to deal with. And it has to do with the church. Now, this year, Christmas time, we talk about, peace on earth and goodwill to mankind. And, mostly people talk about, being charitable and compassionate and thoughtful and loving to people. Just got done smoking my 124-year-old Meerschaum with Prince Albert. Whoa. Wow. 124-year-old Meerschaum. That's museum quality, my friend. Be careful. I mean, I hope you have it in a safe deposit box. Golly. So anyway, a lot of people do think about, of course, we're going to be talking about the birth of Jesus. Again, this is Christmas Eve. So it's the eve before Christmas Eve. And yes, people will begin to, maybe their thoughts will begin to think about more religious-based themes, and maybe they'll even think about going to church or whatever. But unfortunately, there are a lot of people now who are very, and understandably, they're very angry. They're very angry at the church, the Catholic Church, organized religion. And, it just seems like it's the same old broken record for so many people, that they're angry, they're disappointed, and, the church is made up of a bunch of corrupt people. Well, you know what? It's been that way from the very, very beginning. With a couple of exceptions, Christmas is always a hard time for me. Yep, it's a hard time for lots of people. And here's what I wanted to talk about, is that we have to be very careful that we don't, and again, this is where it gets very difficult. It's kind of like splitting hairs, maybe. Maybe for some people, it's like, well, how can you do that? Okay. You have to remember that we're all sinful, fallen, corrupt human beings. Now, that doesn't mean we're all bad, evil people out, trying to hurt everybody and do bad things all the time. But we're human beings, and we are prone to human errors. We're prone to human sinfulness. That's just the way it is. That's why Jesus came. He came to save sinners. And that's the message of Christmas. And now a lot of people now want to kind of take the message of Christmas and say, well, it's all about, basically practicing kindness and giving to people in need. And okay, absolutely, there's nothing wrong at all with showing compassion and kindness to people. Jesus admonishes us to, again, to take care of the needy, to truly take care of the needy. And we have a lot of needy here. There's needy there in every city, okay? There's homeless in every city. Right now we have here in Chico, we have neighbors from Paradise, and Magalia and Concow and all these other little hamlets up north, and some of them have moved down here. And it's like, you ever go Christmas shopping the day before Christmas, on Christmas Eve or Christmas Eve, like today is, and the traffic is just terrible. Well, it's been like that for the last 2 or 3 weeks since our neighbors had to come down here and find habitation down here. So it's been a strain. It's been hard. But a lot of people are now kind of upset because the people that have been burned out by the fire, they're upset because the homeless people who have been here for, eons, they kind of started passing themselves off as the evacuees and kind of taking things that were kind of designated for them. And they were being deceptive and kind of passing themselves off as, yeah, I'm from Paradise, I got burned out, and find out that they were lying. Okay, it's not a big surprise, but it really leaves a bad taste in people's mouth. And so, but here's the thing, is that people, they look at the church and, well, what is the church doing to help these people? Well, the church is doing quite a lot. But I can't, as a person, take your broken life and, again, we all have our past, and some of that, goes way back even to our childhood. I can't fix you. That's the problem. Can I give you a hot meal? Can I maybe find you a little place to stay temporarily? I can probably do some of those things, but the thing that people really get angry at is they get angry at the church because supposedly the church is made up of a bunch of hypocrites and it's all corrupt, and yet here's the church trying to help them, at least in a temporary way, and they'll take material things, but then they turn around and they badmouth the church, and they do this kind of this double-edged kind of a duplicitous kind of a thing. Oh, thank you, God bless you, and then, well, they didn't do very much for me, and so that's where today I was reading, they were saying, oh, you really don't need the story of Jesus to be a good person. In other words, Christmas doesn't need, you don't need to worry. You don't need to have Jesus in Christmas. Basically, you can take that whole Jesus component out, and you don't need it. It's like, excuse me? And yeah, people want the church to give them things, material things, but when the church wants to give them something that's even more valuable, the real gift of Christmas, which is, finding Christ, who hopefully, if you accept him, he's going to be able to maybe, I hate people saying happy holidays. Okay, well, Merry Christmas. Ho, ho, ho. How's that? Okay, Merry Christmas. Happy and holy Christmas. That's what I like to tell people. Have a happy and a holy Christmas. So anyway, but a lot of times people, they want to, even Jesus said when he noticed that the people were kind of starting to come to him in greater numbers, was because he multiplied the loaves and the fishes. And he even called them out on it. He says, you're not following me because you want the words of life, basically. You're following me because you ate your fill of the bread and the fishes. Jesus kind of knew those kind of folks. He still ministered to them the best he could, but there wasn't a whole lot he could do for them because they were looking for the perishable manna, not the eternal things, not the things that are really important about Christmas, about Christianity. And so people, when you try to share with them the true good news, it's like they got their hand out, they want a gift card, or they want a turkey, or they want, some presents or something, money, and you don't give it to them, or you don't give them what they want. Then they get mad and they cuss you out and they tell you that you're no good, and and they basically try to hoist you on your own they try to hoist you on this infamous gibbet of hypocrisy and say you're no real Christian. And it's like, oh brother, here we go again. So the thing is that part of it has to do with going back, as I was sharing with you about this whole idea. I know you're probably saying, this has nothing to do with that. Well, it does a little bit. I mean, it's the concept of the same thing. When you talk about, can people learn how to do their work on an iPad as opposed to their computer or laptop? Well, the answer is yes, but you have to go through some learning. You have to kind of be willing to kind of be a little uncomfortable. And Christianity, the old saying is, it comes to bring comfort to the afflicted and inflict the comfortable. And sometimes The thing is that when people find out that that Christianity has conditions, and it does, they don't like that. What? You mean I have to reform my life? Yeah, maybe if you reformed your life with the help of God's grace, you wouldn't be needing these other things, or think you need these things. Sometimes we think we need something when we really don't. And so that's the message I think that people love to do. They love to really tar the church with this brush of hypocrisy, and yet they probably are just as hypocritical as anybody else. Again, we have to remember that the early church was full of people who betrayed Jesus. They sold him out for money. They were corrupt. They were liars. They were cowards. They were people who abandoned him in his greatest need. I mean, those were and are the people that make up the church. See, you have to have Christ with his church. You can't. Some people say, well, you don't need the church. You don't need religion. Well, okay, maybe you don't need religion, but you have to have the church. Why? Because the church is the body and the bride of Christ. And you can't have a head without a body. Jesus is the head and the church is his body. So to say you don't need the church is like saying, well, just, again, it's almost like saying, let's get Jesus out of the Christmas thing and things will be good, Christmas would be really wonderful if it wasn't for Jesus, right? I mean, there are some people that, they want all the holiday trimmings, they want all the sweetness, but they don't want to think about this wonderful, greatest gift of God, truly God's love wrapped in human form, coming to save sinners like you and me. See, if you can admit, if you can pretty much, say, okay, who am I? It's like asking the question about the iOS thing. What is my needs? If you can answer that, you can then find the other answer. Well, the other answer comes easily. Okay, who am I? I am a sinner. Lord Jesus Christ, Son of God, have mercy on me, a sinner. Where two or three gathered, the Lord is present. Amen. Amen. Okay? So the thing is that, but the church is the body, the bride of Christ. And you can't have a head without a body because it doesn't work that way unless you're in science fiction. And there was a science fiction, I think, with Vincent Price, and they had the headless woman. Anyway, he kept this woman's head alive for, I forgot how that, it was a 1950s sci-fi movie. And, I love the old 1950s sci-fis. Oh, in fact, I know I'm getting off tangent here, but one of my favorite movies when I was a kid was The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Anybody remember that movie, The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms? I loved that. Stop motion animation. That was one of the coolest movies I thought of as a kid, Anyway, so if you ever saw that movie, give me a little thumbs up there, or say, hey, I saw that movie and I thought it stank, or I love that movie too, or whatever. I got 11. Somebody dropped out. Okay, somebody didn't like The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. Okay. It was lame. But anyways, 1950s movies. So anyway, getting back to the little final thought here is that, you got to have, the church is part, it's not, you can't separate the body of Christ from Christ himself. And that's the church. And so many people want to claim about, the corruption of people and, it's interesting. Jesus, interestingly enough, said, make sure you do everything the Pharisees tell you, but don't follow their bad example. Wow. So even Jesus would have said, well, okay, don't mix up the personalities of individuals and their individual misdeeds with, again, the church, the ecclesia, the called out ones, the bride of Christ. You can't do that. You just can't, because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's like a car, Well, I want a car that has a steering wheel and lights and an engine, but I don't want the other stuff that goes with it. You don't want the other stuff that goes with it. You want a seat, an engine, lights, and a steering wheel and a seat, right? Yeah, that's what I want. But the other stuff, I don't need the other stuff. Well, unfortunately, yes, you do. Whether you know it or not, whether you like it or not, you need the other stuff to make it a car. And that's the way it is with Christianity. Jesus might be like the engine, and he's running the whole thing, but you've got to have all the other components to make it work, to make it run. to get somewhere from point A to point B. So anyway, when people come up with this seasonal argument about, well, you already don't need, well, see, part of it is they don't need Christ. They don't want Christ because he's very uncomfortable. He makes your life uncomfortable. Don't need the church because they're a bunch of hypocrites trying to tell you what to do. All of it boils down to is some group of people, or what they think is a group of people, trying to impose, quote unquote, their regulations and rules on you. Well, we all follow some set of rules and regulations, one way or another. You know, we all are following something, but we choose, you know, what's going to really help us. And so again, if you understand that, yes, every one of us is a sinner. We're a hypocrite. We're corrupt. We're weak. We're heir to human flesh. Then, yeah, Merry Christmas, Graham Wilson. Hi, Graham Wilson. Like your little Christmas tree thing there. Awesome. Love it. We're all prone to do that. Now, again, but that's why we need the grace of the church. We need the grace of Christ that is ministered through the church. It's through the church that it ministers his gifts of grace and salvation, and that's why it's necessary. So, you know, again, these people who are angry, and they're just angry people, they're bitter people, they're sad people. Again, I don't fault them for that, but I've learned a long time ago that there are imperfect people in my church, and I pray for them. Sometimes I do get angry with them, but for the most part, I don't look at them and saying, well, just because they're weak and sinful and corrupt, that means that the message of Christianity is fake or false or incorrect. I've never been able to make that connection. It'd be like saying, well, if a mathematician was using his skills of applied mathematics to cheat people out of their savings account, does that mean that 2 + 2 is false? I mean, 2 + 2 = 4 is false? Of course not. That's what we say. What? That's the tautology. It's true. It's always true. It's always been true. It's always going to be true. Nothing is ever going to change that. And the individual righteousness or corruption of an individual is not going to change that fact of that truth. And so, unfortunately, people like to use that as an excuse. Well, so-and-so's a hypocrite, so that means I don't have to pay attention to the rest of it. Well, you do so at your own peril. So, well, anyway, I've been on this for an hour. I'm going to end this live stream. Sorry about the video flaking out on you all, but at least I had the last half hour for audio. Hopefully you got something out of that. Let me take this opportunity before I finalize everything to wish every single one of you a happy and joy-filled Holy Christmas. And I hope that you have the best Christmas ever. And may God bless each of you, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. Amen. And Holy Smoking Pipe Padre, thank you, Duke City Piper. Merry Christmas, saying, light up your world, light up your pipe. All right. Thank you, Graham Wilson. God bless you now. Good night now.